They proved it, and we looked at it, and it looked good because it was very stylized, the font, but nobody picked up on it until one smart student did after their shirts were printed.
Change is inevitable. Like every success happens because you changed something and it was a fear that was within you.
Motivation only lasts for a short amount of time, but discipline is what carries you forward.
I can't do this on my own, period.
Are you looking at your business in terms of emotion, or are you looking at your business in terms of what's practical?
I still believe that America is the best country in the world. Where can kid of immigrants with no education become a physician?
This is Small Business Celebration, where we're celebrating small businesses for big breakthroughs.
Welcome to another fantastic episode here on Small Business Celebration. We're going to be talking about how to identify the ideal manufacturer for your products. We're also going to be talking about how do you teach your team how to follow up on a prospect. And to guide us on this is going to be Yoli Atkinson, the owner of B&B Custom Designs. Welcome to Small Business Celebration.
It's nice to be here. Thank you very much.
And for Visioneers who don't know who are you and what is it that you do?
My name is Yoli Atkinson. I own B&B Custom Designs, and we do promotional advertising specialty products for your business, for your family reunion, for your church or school.
How did you and your husband start this business?
We started with a line of custom t-shirts.
Right.
We would travel to all the automotive shows with a booth, and we sold shirts that we designed and printed ourselves out of our garage in South San Francisco. Shortly after, we had a friend that was a mailman that said, I have a Mercedes-Benz shop that wants to have t-shirts done. Would you print them for him? And eventually that's what we did. We stopped traveling and we stayed home and we printed full-time out of our garage since 1986.
Okay, I have to ask, because we're talking about cars, and car t-shirts can get rather colorful.
Yes.
What's some of your favorite slogans that you printed on shirts?
Well, we never did slogans. We actually did car designs.
Really?
And all of our cars were in space.
Really?
Yeah, it was very unusual. There were maybe a 2, 3, or 4 color design that we did with a technical pen.
Right.
Because back in the day, the computers could not do that kind of technical drawing.
So you had to do it by hand?
It was all done by hand with dots.
Really?
They were called Jack's DOTs. And we did everything with a press-on letraset letters with a burnisher. There was no computer programs at that point that could do all of that.
How long did it take you to create a design for a shirt?
It would usually take him about 2 to 3 weeks from the beginning to the end of the design.
2 to 3 weeks?
Yes.
And you started making how many of these shirts?
Initially we did, I think, 35 designs, and we would print up maybe 50 shirts and go to a show with them, and then we could see which shirts sold the best.
Let me get this straight. You have 50 designs that would take 2 to 3 weeks each to create.
Correct.
And then you would pack up and travel outside of the Bay Area to
Correct.
how many car shows a year?
Oh, we did quite a few. We were in Vegas, Santa Rosa, Reno, LA. We would go up to Oregon. We did pretty much the West Coast. I was working full time, and every Friday I would be off and we would head off to the next show, get there at night, have our booth set up, ready for the show, leave, after the show on Sunday, and I would be at work the next morning on Monday. We would drive all night.
How long did it take you before the business was profitable enough so that when you came home on a Sunday night, you could sleep in on a Monday morning and not go to work?
I would say it took really a couple of years before I actually quit my job.
Really?
Right, because at that point, we were just starting to print for individual companies, individual friends. Our big break came when we got a job for the city of South San Francisco. Wow. For their park and rec department. And I still print for them to this day.
At what point did the business become profitable enough that you could afford these cars and all the great stuff you're able to do to them?
Probably around 2000.
Really?
Yes.
So you started in 1984,
86.
86. So 86 to 2000 is 14 years?
14, yeah.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. That's also a lot of dots.
It's a lot of dots. It's a lot of dots.
At what point did computer technology come in and make your life a whole bunch simpler?
Probably around 1990, 1992 is when the first real art and graphic programs for screen printers came out. And back then, the system, when I think about it now, it's crazy. It had, I think, 5 megabytes of storage.
Right.
And I think it was about $32,000, which was a lot of money.
Wow, it's still a lot of money.
It is, but now you can get that same thing for $2,000 or $1,500.
And the entire 5 megabyte design now it's on a thumb drive.
Oh, right.
Your business grew,
Yes.
and it grew beyond the Bay Area. It started going in
Yes.
Central Valley, it started going down south in LA.
Correct.
And it started growing across the country?
We would be referred from one person to the next. At the time, we started doing, we had a website where you could actually click on there from different parts of the country. And I have a lot of customers I've never met over the years. We've just done jobs for them every year consistently.
For those that are watching this show on YouTube, we're in your garage.
Yes, you are.
And tell us what's parked on either side of us, starting with what's behind you right now.
Well, what's behind you right now is a 2008 Chevy Corvette, which is totally modified custom by my husband and myself. And I actually cut vinyl. We've probably have done about 40 to 50 cars in the San Francisco Bay Area with vinyl.
Wow.
Because we started ours and everyone else wanted one.
I like that. Can I have one too?
Yeah, that's pretty much how it went. And then we progressed to doing more and more vinyl. And my car initially was a white Corvette, which now it is, as you can see, orange with a big carbon fiber wing and
Right.
wide booty fenders. And the car behind you is a 2019 Acura NSX, an NC1, which I love. And we did have an earlier model, but we sold it because he wanted to chop it up. So now the new car we bought has only vinyl on it.
At what point did your business grow from being simply a t-shirt business into promotional items?
I wish I had started much earlier. I wish I had started much earlier.
Why is that?
Well, because promotional products are fun.
Right.
I can do them any time of the day or night. It doesn't require any physical strength to do it, where if I'm screen printing, it is physically demanding because we had a manual press, not an automatic.
Right.
So you could control what you're printing.
Right.
And our specialty was jobs 1,000 pieces and under.
What got you into the promotional products business?
We printed for quite a few people that did subcontracting ad agencies who would call me and say, could you possibly do the artwork for a job for me, for their job, for their pens or pencils or banners, because I'm a graphic artist.
Right.
I started doing that, and I was doing so much of it, I decided to try and do the promotional products myself. It could be anything from a pie box to an eyeglass cloth to a pen, a mug, a banner, a feather flag. I do everything.
And if you need a place to store all these wonderful promotional products that you've been getting from Yoli, might I suggest you buy a new house? And the person you should buy that house from is Mike Saba, a Zillow Premier Agent with Watson Realty. Born and raised and never left Bakersfield. Give Mike Saba a call at 661-203-8406 or reach him at mikesaba1@icloud.com today. Mike Saba is also the sponsor of our first Visioneer question. And if you've got a question, you've got a thought, something you'd like to learn about here on Small Business Celebration, reach out to us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, and your question could appear here on Small Business Celebration, just like Lori, who asked, how can I determine and identify the ideal manufacturer to produce my product?
That's really simple, actually. There is a governing body called PPAI. It's Promotional Products. And what they do is they provide a website with a search engine. And you can find anything in Canada, the US, overseas. So you simply type it in and it will give you choices. And from that part, you can pick which ones you like the best.
How did you go through and verify that they're going to hold up to scratch?
That's all on that website.
Really?
It gives you the rating of the manufacturer, problems that they've had, reviews from other customers. It's quite in-depth, so it really helps. And most vendors, once you find something that you like, I can go on, order a sample, have it drop shipped to the customer, see if they like it or not, and then we go from there.
It sounds like the easiest part of this is no storage for you.
No storage for me. They're essentially like my satellite warehouse, where I just find the items that I want, I order them, send the artwork in with the order, they ship directly to the customer.
And you can white label the whole thing.
Correct.
B&B. Yoli is not a bee.
No.
Where did the name come from?
Well, at the beginning, in the phone book, because there was no internet, it was good to be at the top of the listing. And we didn't want to do an A&A, and we had a joke. My husband and I always called each other B, because it was easier for him than saying Yoli or Yolanda.
Right.
And it was actually off the program Bevet and Butthead.
I love it.
So we always called each other B till the day he passed.
How many cars did you and your husband build together?
Well, we built 3 Datsun Z cars.
Right.
We've built 2 Nissan 300ZX cars. And every other vehicle that we've had has been modified. Every vehicle, motorhomes included.
I have to ask, why Datsuns? Because you're a car person.
Yes.
So I've got to ask. I mean, because Datsuns are niche. So you started there. Why?
I was always in love with the Datsun 240Z.
Oh.
Always. And when I met my husband, the first question I think I asked him was, "What kind of car do you drive?"
That's a qualifier.
Yes, and when he said he had a Datsun 240Z, that was it.
He's the guy.
Yeah, always loved Datsuns, and to this day, I'm still a Datsun Nissan person, but I've become an Acura NSX person now too.
And that brings us to the Visioneer game. Now, Visioneers, if you're not familiar with the way the game works, I have a random word generator here on my phone. I have no idea what the 3 words I'm going to give our guest are, but more importantly, neither does our guest. And our guest has to take each of 3 words that I give her and somehow associate each word with her business. And Visioneers, you too can also play the Visioneer question by taking the word scramble and go ahead and make a comment in the comment section using the word scramble and take that word and somehow associate it with your business, your job, something in the comment section. Play along, it's great fun. And this game is brought to you by Scaffold Solutions Unlimited. Are you having to get to hard to reach areas for repairs, painting, stucco, remodeling, or any place you need to reach to keep your employees safe? Reach out to Scaffold Solutions Unlimited. Their experienced team provides top-level scaffolding solutions for all of your construction needs. Get safe, effective, and cost-effective scaffolding today. Call them for a free quote at 661-374-4234 or see their work at scaffold-unlimited.com today. Get the reliable scaffolding services you need. Call Scaffold Solutions Unlimited today at 661-374-4234 or at their website at scaffold-unlimited.com today. Now, Yoli, you do understand that the entire world, when it comes to hats, coats, pens, cups, any promotional item, the entire industry is based on your ability to get these 3 words correct.
I understand.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Your first word is opponent.
I would say my opponent is another promotional product person.
How do you take on your opponent and crush them underneath the tire of your car?
Underbid.
Very well, congratulations, you got your first word correct. Okay, your second word is tower.
With tower, you can do tower ribbons that are rosettes, essentially, that you use for car shows. So that's how I would say tower would be used.
Can you put somebody's logo or their name on the centerpiece of that
Yes.
rosette?
Yes, you can put an image, a name, it doesn't matter. You can also print on the rosette ribbons that go down below. And there's so many options to make a rosette ribbon. They're all done individually.
Well, congratulations. That's 2 for 2. Well done, you. Now it comes down to the third one. It's all the marbles. Physics. We save all the easy ones for promotional guest items.
Yeah, I could tell that. Well, I would say with physics, it probably has to do with all the different variations with the cups and mugs, because there are a lot of color changing mugs that you can get depending on the heat or the cold in the mug, which are so unusual. So I would say that would be probably the best use for that word, color changing mugs for the physics.
There it is. 3 for 3. Well done, you. The world of promotional items is safe now because of you.
Thank you.
You've been doing promotional items since 1986.
We've been doing a version of all of them since then, yes.
What is the single biggest lesson learned?
To make sure that you have the customer proof their artwork, even if they've supplied it.
Okay, why is that?
San Francisco State University had a wrestling team and we did beautiful shirts, but they spelled San Francisco wrong.
They did.
Yes, it was their artwork that was all done by hand, which was beautiful, but they left out the C in San Francisco.
And they didn't proof it.
They proofed it, and we looked at it, and it looked good because it was very stylized, the font, but nobody picked up on it until one smart student did after their shirts were printed.
Tell me the story about getting a deposit first.
Companies do have a tendency to file, bankruptcy, and they don't tell you, and you deliver the shirts, and they still accept them.
Oh no.
Yes. And it's happened to quite a few people I know. I was very fortunate with a very small job, but I know someone that got stuck for over $10,000 cost on items.
Wow.
So they learned a hard way, and they always took a deposit after that.
And that brings us to our second Visioneer question, which is also brought to you by Mike Saba, a Zillow Premier agent with Watson Realty, selling Bakersfield homes since 1992. Give Mike Saba a call at 661-203-8406 or reach him at mikesaba1@icloud.com today. Visioneer Curtis asks, what strategies can I use to instruct my sales team on effectively following up with prospects to ensure future success?
The key is to always email, always call, even if you feel like you're being a pest. Always drop off samples and catalogs and a presentation, because generally what a customer asks for is not what they normally order.
Really?
Right.
What happens?
Well, typically they'll say, I want a pen, a certain type of pen like the one you gave me.
Right.
And I might drop them off maybe 5 or 6 different samples of pens, maybe a hand sanitizer, maybe something, an eyeglass cleaner, or a mug. And they say, I really need that, and I could hold off on the pens. I just was sort of thinking just a pen, but giving them other ideas makes that so important. And just to follow up once you've dropped anything off.
One of the things that's very common with a lot of salespeople, and it's one of those kind of things that we as business owners have to train and teach, is at what point does the follow-up become annoying? Where is that line when too much following up or too frequent a follow-up starts becoming an annoyance to the prospect?
Typically, I would do it maybe 4 or 5 times, and then I make a point to drop off more samples.
Is that 4 or 5 times like once a week for 4 times, or every other week, or?
I would say every other week is typically better, but I always drop off more samples because it keeps you back in their mind, and they might actually decide that they want that more so. Like if they're looking for a specific wine glass, I always give them a couple of other options that are not specifically what they asked for, because they're not always thinking in that way.
We here at Small Business Celebration love orange. It's in our logo, it's in everything that we do. And you love orange too. It's on both of your cars. Why orange?
Love orange. I don't know. It's just something about it. It's a bright color. It makes you feel good. Just love orange. There was no specific thing. Well, there is one. Roger Penske
Okay.
has orange on the cars, and we loved it.
You've had a lot of fun as a car person.
Absolutely.
Tell us your favorite adventure.
My favorite adventure is with Santa Clara Corvettes.
Okay.
My husband and I set up a run to go to Colorado. We had about 25 Corvettes, and we took everybody up on a run to Durango, Colorado, by train after we had all driven there. And by the time we got to the top, it was snowing.
Wow.
It was amazing, eating ice cream, it's snowing. We all came back down on the train to the base, and it was perfectly fine. But it was an amazing adventure. We did nighttime Jeep trips through Moab. It was just an amazing adventure, and I'll always remember it.
It's no secret that there's a lot of business owners who are struggling right now. What do you say to the business owner that's having a rough time? What do you say to encourage them and let them know that not all hope is lost?
Oh, not all hope is lost, and everybody struggles. The economy with a lot of businesses over the years has been tough. Just hang on and just do the best you can. Follow up, try and cut your costs as much as you can, but don't give up. We did not make any profit really for a couple of years, and we didn't give up. You just keep pushing ahead, and a lot of businesses are struggling. You're not alone.
Yoli, this has been a treat. Thank you for joining us here on
Thank
Small
you very
Business
much.
Celebration.
So nice to be here.
If Visioneers want to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
The best way probably is on our website, B&B Custom Designs.com, and it's the letter B, ampersand sign, and the letter B. Or you can call 650-873-5552.
And after a quick message from Planned Exits, we're going to be talking about how to make the other person feel important, but do it in a sincere fashion when we come right back.
Thank you, Michael. As we approach the Thanksgiving holiday, I look forward to sitting around the table, enjoying a home-cooked meal with all the people that mean the most to me. And that begins with my wife and my 4 children and my 4 grandchildren. And I'm just so grateful for the many blessings in my life, and I'm thankful for my clients, I'm thankful for my peers, and all those that have supported me in my entrepreneurial journey. I want to wish you and your family a happy Thanksgiving from Scott Garrison at Planned Exits.
How to make the other person feel important and do it sincerely. When I was in college, I had a part-time job at a software store selling software, and I'd been there for a couple weeks and I was not selling a thing. I was landing a giant goose egg when it came to software stores. And one morning I arrived at work and I wasn't feeling real great about myself because I knew I wasn't going to sell a thing. When the owner of the business took me aside and he said, "You know, Michael, do you realize you're the only employee I have that actually irons his shirt every day?" And I looked down and, oh, well, that's probably true, okay. And he said, "And you know what? You always show up a little early. I wish I had 10 more employees just like you." And I laughed and I said, "But I haven't sold a thing." He says, "You know what? Today is your day. You're going to sell something today." And I felt better about myself and I went out onto the floor. And a little bit later that morning, I was talking with a customer and telling him about all the great and wonderful things about the software he was looking at when the owner of the business came up alongside of me and looked at the customer and said, "Where are you from? I love your accent." And the owner and the customer chatted for a little bit later, and with a wink, the owner of the company walked away, and I finished talking to the customer about the software, and the customer bought the piece of software. Yay! I had gotten something. And a little bit later, after the customer had left, the owner came up to me and said, "What was different this time?" And I said, what do you mean? Well, you sold something. Obviously, something happened that was different. And I thought about it, and I thought about it. And he said, what did you do, or what did I do to impress the customer? And that's when it dawned on me. Made the other person feel important, but with sincerity. And it's a lesson I have never forgotten. I hope you enjoyed our conversation this week here on Small Business Celebration, and I hope you learned something that you can use today to grow strong and profitable business. And we'll see you here again next week when we celebrate another small business making a big breakthrough. Why don't you bug somebody who's intently doing their embroidery?
Probably so that they don't goof up.
True, but maybe they just need a little space.
No.
Bad.
That's bad.
Yeah. Why do embroiderers love long email chains?
Well, that's a good one, probably because they like to have lots of stitches in their garments because then they make more money.
Possibly.
Possibly.
Or they like a good long email thread.
Oh.
I told you they're horrible dad jokes.
Okay.
Horrible dad jokes.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Shall we start?
Yes.
Okay.